No, I do not believe in extraterrestrials. Okay, welcome to the Moondream Press YouTube page. My name is Michael H. Hansen, and I am the managing editor of Copperdog Publishing, and Moondream Press is one of our 3 imprints. This is the second video that I've done so far, and I've been talking about the Sha'Daa Shared World Anthology series. The last video I talked about Sha'Daa Tales of the Apocalypse. Looking back in that video, I realized there was a few things I didn't point out, like the fact that it is a shared world, aka shared universe series, excuse me, which means that all the stories take place in the same reality, much like the MCU and all the Avengers movies and all the characters are literally taking place in the same reality. Well, the same is true with the Sha'Daa. Basically, these stories take place all over the Earth. One even takes place on the moon. And that's what makes it kind of fun, knowing that they're all taking place at the same time everywhere. Today, I'll be talking about the second book in the series, though as I pointed out in the last video, you can read them in any order because the vast majority of the books of the seven volumes put out so far do take place during the Sha'Daa. There is one that I'll be talking about in the future that doesn't quite do that, and that'll be a fun thing. But here's Last Call. Now, Sha'Daa Tales of the Apocalypse was basically just a bunch of short stories that all take place during this mother of all apocalypses. And between every one of the chapters, I personally wrote little vignettes, some flash fiction, some longer short stories. So what you actually got in Tales from the Apocalypse was a lot of short stories, over 22. And what we tried to do with Last Call, Ed McEwen, the editor, and I, the creator, was we wanted to give kind of a backstory, a spine to it. So instead of having short stories between each chapter, we have one long short story I wrote called the Triple-Six Tavern. And the Triple-Six Tavern is this kind of magical, mystical bar inside of a cave in another dimension. But people from like different time periods or from any bar anywhere on the earth can accidentally stumble into it. So this book basically jumps back and forth from all these different stories around the world, people dealing with the Sha'Daa, trying to survive this horrible apocalyptic event, and things that are happening in this magical Triple-Six Tavern bar. I'd like to read off the names of the authors that are in this. We have the late C.J. Henderson, myself, Michael H. Hansen, Edward F. McEwen, who's also the editor of the series, Arthur Sanchez, Deborah Corin, Paul Barrett, Anthony Truax, Sarah Wagner, Mallory Makepeace, Bruce Durham, the late Jordan Ellinger, and James I. Wasserman. Now, no, I think I got those transposed. It was the late James I. Wasserman, I'm sorry. James unfortunately passed away at the age of between 30 and 31. He had just finished garnering a degree in, I think, neurobiology, a PhD in that at Harvard. And it was such a shame. He had had a number of short stories published at this point, and he passed away before this book came out. And we had gotten his father's permission. His father signed the final contracts. And so it's, I believe, the last thing that James ever published. And yeah, so we have, unfortunately, 2 authors in this that have passed away. But, I'm really proud of what they did here. The Sha'Daa has so far only appeared in trade paperback, Kindle ebook, and on Audible. We've got an excellent recording of it. I hope you check it out sometime. It's been my hope that sometime in the near future, each one of these could be turned into a comic book miniseries and thus compiled as a graphic novel, because I think they would be perfect for that. I also have plans to try to make a board game out of the Sha'Daa, and I was even thinking of a kind of a Magic the Gathering type of game, but that's going to take a lot of effort, and I'm trying to get the right people on board to see all this happen. But right now, I'd just like to say the second book in the series, you can read it, before, after, at the end of all the other books. It was our first attempt at doing something other than just a straight swath of stories. And I think you'll find that the recurring character in everybody's tale, Johnny the Salesman, has some really interesting adventures that occur in and around the Triple-Six Tavern. And it also gives you a little bit more background info on Johnny. And that's something that happens in every one of these books here, is you find just a little bit more about this strange, archaic trickster figure. In fact, you might say, or you could just outright literally say, that Johnny the Salesman is the basis for every mythological or religious trickster figure in human history, because he basically was all of them. And his name kept changing and his persona kept changing until this series of books, where he's the really tall, slim, dark man with dark hair, half in shadow, wearing a trench coat and a fedora, because he had many names throughout time and history over the past almost 10,000 years. Because as I said in the last video, the Sha'Daa occurs every 10,000 years. It happened almost 10,000 years ago. So all these books take place in the near future. And no, we'll never say what the year is. You'll have to guess that on your own. This is it. I hope you like the cover. I hope you like Sha'Daa Last Call. Thank you.